Mike Hall, head coach of the Sault College Cougars. How are you today, Mike?
Great, how are you?
Good. You were fresh off your prospect camp about a week ago and named your roster. Can you talk a little bit about the guys you chose to wear the Cougar jerseys this year?
We're quite excited. We've got quite a few returning kids. Austin Rowe came back from the Eagles last year. Brian Benderman's back, Jake Lewis, Jason Ewell, Andrew Trowbridge, Jamie Kamsel, Jared Bingus, Drew Gregory and net. And then we were quite successful over the summer recruiting. We got Brad Thrower and Nick Nigro from Thunder Bay, Bryson Lalonde from Sudbury, Curtis Stacey from the Toronto area, and Anthony Palcino from the Toronto area. So we think we've done pretty well. We basically got the north covered. We also picked up Cody McDonald from Haleberry. So we've basically got all the north covered. We were pretty excited with what we ended up with.
And what does that say, like say with the SIJHL and the NOJHL, like say probably 50% of your roster, what does that say about those leagues?
Well, and that's the biggest thing, you know what I mean? There's no sense of looking all over the place for players. We focused on players from Northern Ontario that are used to playing in the north. You know, we did go into Southern Ontario. Probably one of the biggest changes that happened over the summer is we actually hired a scouting staff, so that made a huge difference as far as reaching out to different areas as far as Florida and down into the Toronto area, so that's helped immensely.
And Sault Ste. Marie is, like you say, a hockey town, and now with the Cougars, last year you guys were part of the ACHA, but this year, like you say, full steam ahead. Can you talk a little bit about what the fans can expect in Sault Ste. Marie from the hockey program?
Well, we have an unbalanced schedule. We play 24 games on the road and 6 at home. We're hoping each year to improve that a little bit more, but I think they're going to see an exciting brand of hockey. When you look at the NOJHL, we got some of the top players that came out of the NOJHL last year. So I think you're going to see an exciting brand of hockey. I'm not really sure what to expect in our first weekend in Ferris State, mainly because we haven't seen them, they haven't seen us. The only advantage that we have this year is we've practiced 8 times before we go there. So I think the kids are anxious and ready to get started.
And like you say, talent, hard work, consistency helps with the success of the hockey program. What else do you expect from these players this year?
Well, the biggest thing is we expect them to be role models. You know, not just on the ice, but off the ice. The other thing is you hit a point there where you said, you know, we picked up quite a bit of talent, but hard work beats talent any day of the week. So we need to be a team that works hard and not rely just solely on our talent.
And let's say this weekend, you're headed to Big Rapids to face Ferris State. And like you just mentioned about not knowing anything about them, how do you prepare for a team that you haven't seen yet?
Well, I think the biggest thing is not to get down if you get down early. Last year, our first game, we were down 3-0 early and battled back, and we ended up winning the game 7-6. So, you know, I expect some jitters and some turnovers early, but we have enough talent here. I think that we can play any style of game that somebody wants to play. We can play defensive, or we can certainly run and gun with other teams.
And last year was your first year in the ACHA Division III, and this year you're part of the Michigan Collegiate Hockey Conference. A little bit, and nothing against the teams you played last year, but some teams are a little bit more talent, like Hope College and stuff like that. What do you expect going into this year with a little bit tougher schedule than last year?
Well, and that's the biggest thing. We want a tougher schedule. We want to play the best teams in the MCHC. The MCHC has represented the North in the last 6 out of the 8 years in the national championship, so we want to play the better teams. And matter of fact, this year we have a couple of games against D2 teams to see how we stack up against them, and all those games will count in our standings, so we're kind of looking forward to the opportunity.
And talking about that, your second week you're playing Davenport in Grand Rapids, and that's D2 Team 2 there, isn't it?
Yes, exactly, and it'll be a good test for our younger players. We'll be short, you know, one player has to go to field camp, and Ryan Benderman will be in Russia playing on the ACHA All-Star team, so we'll be down a couple of guys, so it'll give the opportunity for some other players to step up.
And you brought back 2 of your goaltenders from last year, and you added 2. Is there a choice why you went with the 4-goalie system?
The biggest thing in college hockey is you have no affiliates. You can't draw from anywhere else. Once your roster's submitted, you can add players, but they have to be at the college. So we've decided, just for safety for the team to have 4 goaltenders. One goaltender has kind of stepped back and just wants to be left on the roster as a spare. So right now we have Brian Clement, Drew Gregory, and Curtis Stacy in the lineup.
And just the last question, you mentioned Ryan Vanderman about going to Russia. What's that about?
It's just a great opportunity for Ryan. What they do is the ACHA picks an all-star team out of players that played last year. And fortunately, Ryan was selected to be one of those players. He spent last week in Albany, New York. They did a training camp there for 4 days. And then he comes home for 3 weeks, and then he flies back to New York and heads to Russia for a week to play colleges and universities over there. So it certainly speaks highly for Ryan, and it's also great for the program that the ACHA steps up and does stuff like this for players at our level. And
it also says something, like say, about Ryan as a student athlete. You say dual athlete, golf and hockey usually, and also going to school. So for a student athlete, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, the only bad thing about Ryan going is the timing that he's going, because that's when the golf championship is. But no, it speaks extremely highly, and Ryan exemplifies a student that combines athletics with his education. Ryan last year carried a 4.0 grade point average in police foundations, and that was missing quite a few Fridays being away with the hockey team. So certainly he shuffles his priorities around and does a really good job at it.
Well, thank you very much, and good luck this season, Mike.
Great. Thank you, Jerry.